What's the haps? I'm Meroka, and today I'm going to be taking an early look at Boid by Mokus and published by tinyBuild Games. What is a Boid? A Boid is a bioorganic infestation drone. Some sort of robot-y thing from outer space which crash lands in the ocean of an alien planet and immediately begins trying to take over the local life forms. You wouldn't know that from the game, they never tell you that. There's no story or backstory or context or anything for the game. It really doesn't give you any of that information. That's in the trailer. You have to go watch the trailer to see that. So, I don't know whether they're planning to add that later down the line, for this is an early access title, so obviously some features are incomplete. You can see some options on the main menu are grayed out already. So, yeah, obviously there are things to be added to this game, and it may be that some way to convey the story to the player would be a part of it, but as of now, if you want to know what's going on, you need to watch the trailer. If you're not really terribly bothered about what's going on, what this is a RTS in an underwater setting with various little sea creatures battling for supremacy as the dominant life form. So before we get into things, we'll have a look at the options menu. We have resolution options and full screen. Nice to see. Too many games don't have that these days. That's kind of getting annoying. VSync, for some reason that one keeps turning itself on. I had to turn that off a couple times. I don't know why that's on. That's a bit strange. Audio settings, sound and music on separate sliders, good to see, although again, for some reason the music sets itself to 0, like a lot. I've had to turn it up a few times. In fact, the default was 0. When you launch the game, it's like, oh, you probably don't want music. Here, have 0. Wait, what? Okay, so I've had to turn it up on a couple of occasions to actually get music into the game, to actually hear things. Not that there's too much in-game, it mostly seems to be for the menu, if I'm honest. We have multiplayer chat down there if you wish to turn on or off people's babblings in the online multiplayer capacity. And then we have a colorblind mode. Colorblind mode, that's nice to see. Obviously the two main teams in this are a red and green team. So, not that I'm colorblind, so I'm not really too familiar with it, but I believe there's one form of colorblindness that basically makes it difficult to differentiate between red and green, so I suspect that alleviates that for those folks, which is very, very nice to see. It's obviously not something I need myself, but it's very nice that that's actually being taken into consideration for the folks that would like that. So let's head on out. So we've got a tutorial, we've got play online and play with bots, are the only things in the game at present. It looks like there will be a replay function to come later on, and indeed a map editor to come later on, which sounds rather promising. Obviously the game's not available to public right now, so I'm going to have trouble finding an online game, so I will be doing some demonstration with bots. I will note that the bots, it gives you 6 maps to play with. There are 6 maps, and they don't feature all of the features in the game across these 6 maps. It gets... all of the classes are featured in one way or another. Not all of them necessarily the abilities in the game are in there. In fact, none of the abilities are. There are classes and there are abilities, are the two main things. All the classes are somewhere in these maps, as we'll see. None of the abilities are. There is play online, so if I'm set up a custom game, not that I'm going to go through with it, but you can see there are lots more maps available in the online multiplayer kind of thing. And there are a lot more things. The grey icons meaning that those abilities are available on the map, and the coloured icons are basically all the different classes that would be available on those particular maps. So basically all the bot maps don't have any of those abilities. Maybe it's because the AI has not been... maybe the AI is not capable of using those abilities, so for the moment they've chosen not to allow you to play against the AI on maps that have abilities, because, well, it would give you a fairly unfair advantage. So that may be a decision they made. At any rate, I'll take a look at this. I am thinking I will probably do more videos further down the line, online or with someone, so right now I'm just going to give you my first impressions, my first thoughts of what I've seen playing with bots, but there may be some online to come in the near future. So for now we've got these 6 maps at our disposal with bots, so I'll start with the basic, the Enclave, put it on normal. I'm not good at RTS, so this might not end well, but it might not be too bad. I've won a few games on normal difficulty. So, right. This is RTS. We have, it's a kind of a node-based thing. We've got these circles are spawning units, and will continue to do so as long as they are in our control. The green meaning they're in our control. Blue is neutral, red is enemy. This kind of hazy stuff is kind of basically fog of war. So the big circles are basically unit converters. They don't produce units of their own to any extent, but if we take control of them, we can convert our basic units, basically just the little blobby orb things are the basic units, and we can convert them into units of that particular type. In this case, these are sort of a crabby sort of thing. They move slowly, but they hit pretty heavy, so they're nice to have around if you want to take over something, some good force there. Over here, you can see through the fog of war, you can see roughly where things are. There's this unit, which is kind of a turret, ranged unit, and I'm not even sure if there are any on this map. There is another unit which is kind of a squiddy kind of thing, which allows you to move quickly and basically it's a scout is what they call it. It looks like a squid, but it's called a scout. And it allows you to move quickly and take things over. So they've captured that, so they've got a little bit more strength. They might take out my units here, to be honest. Nope, we have superiority, superior numbers. The basic units are... I tend to think of them as being very weak, but I don't think they're necessarily as weak as I tend to think of them. So, we're basically trying to gain control of all of the spawners. Once all of these spawners, the basic small circles, are in our possession, we have dominance over the map and we win. Admittedly, in a lot of cases, once you get to a majority control, you do tend to win things fairly quickly. So, because we captured that one, all those units just became the turrets, the little turret icon. So, they're kind of a ranged thing. There's a kind of vaguely rock, paper, scissors thing going on. It's basically the turrets are supposed to be good against the crabs, the squids are good against the turrets, I think, and then the crabs are actually supposed to be good against damn near anything if you can get them up close to them, which is the challenging part of it. So, I do have a tendency to sit and watch battles play out, which is, I think, part of my major failing as playing an RTS. Because, well, I'm supposed to be keeping strategy moving, I'm supposed to be doing things, taking over things. So they're expanding down here on the map, I'm expanding upwards, which is not actually how this map played out last time I did it, which is kind of interesting. They've sent crabs into that, that's going to win that fight, unless I can get these turrets over to them. The turrets are probably going to make fairly short work of the crab. So then we can take that back. We should probably be moving in there pretty quick before it spawns too many units, because we don't really want to lose that too much. Got all these crabs down here. Probably want to convert that bunch of units into crabs. It's a fairly simplistic thing. It's just a node-based gameplay mostly. Admittedly, as I say, there are other abilities, there are other classes that make things a little bit more deep, a bit more strategic, but not on this map. On this map, we just kind of have the two classes to work with. So, kind of need to... I should really be trying to take things back, because I'm losing quite badly here. I should... oh my god, they've just taken over my spawner. Have I lost? Not quite. I have one stronghold left. And I don't think it's going to work out too well for me. Yeah, see what I mean about being really bad at RTS? Come on, take that one back. I think one of my gripes about the AI at the minute is they do have a very, very real tendency to just sit around doing nothing when the enemy just walks past them. If I put a group of enemies there, units there, and the enemies decide just to walk past to come take that, they probably won't attack them, which is the most annoying part of it, because, quite frankly, they should. Look, when the enemies get really close and they're basically attacking my base, that's the time I would like my units to be attacking stuff, and they often don't. I don't know if that could be tweaked in the AI. It probably can. It's the sort of thing, it's like, just increase the range at which things basically automate. If units come really close to each other, I feel like they should probably engage instead of just letting the enemy walk into my base. Either that, or I've got a really bad handle on how RTS works and I'm supposed to be micromanaging everything to a ridiculous degree. And that's not a thing I tend to do, because I'm not much of an RTS player. That's not to say I don't enjoy RTS, I've never played a whole lot of it, so it's not one of my strengths in life, I'm afraid. So, because I've got units spawning there, I think we're going to outnumber that and continue to take that one. I'm quite liking using the turrets as a strategy in a lot of cases. Basically, if I can... Good lord. I think I've lost this match, to be honest. If you can put out big groups of turrets in places... Hello, we took that spawner? Okay. Maybe we haven't. Maybe this could go okay. If you can put big groups of turrets in places, they can often just create basically a blockade that stops all enemies getting through. Because they'll take them out of range, so I do think the turrets are probably one of the stronger units. So I want to create that bunch there. They've got another load coming in. Those are all ranged units, so probably want to get them in attacking pretty quick. Move. Move faster. No, we've lost that. I'm I'm struggling here. That's probably going to defeat that if I don't move fast. I've got all these crabs here and I've not done anything with them. Let's send them down there. Let's make more of those. I'm lacking resources. And they're... Did I not just tell them to move somewhere? No, I told the crabs to move somewhere. See what I mean? I don't keep track of what I'm doing well enough. So we've pretty much lost that base. Those guys could really stand to be just attacking that. I outnumber them. We could take that base easily. But they're not going to. It's right there, guys. Take it. No, you do really need to micromanage, and I don't think that's necessarily something I enjoy. Some people will really get a kick out of micromanagement. Obviously, you've got a lot of your RTS players pride themselves on having super high APM, 300 APM and whatnot, and I don't. I'm more like, I don't know, 10 APM or something. Something paltry, I'm quite sure. So, those turrets have mostly kept that fairly free, so that's good. I want to convert those into crabs. I want the crabs to probably help those turrets out before they all die. Engage. See, some of them are going to slip through and try and take that. They're not great at stopping enemies getting through places. Stuff can just walk past on a lot of occasions, which is really, really frustrating. So let's get all the turrets over there. Come on, bring them all over. If we can create a bit of a turret blockade, I can stop things getting through there. We might be able to take that crab, might be able to take my original base back even, potentially. Can move those down. I want these right in the gap. Let's move those down. They can take the crab base. Got all those crabs. Let's try and take that spawner. Convert those to those. Convert those to crabs. And as I say, it's not got a lot of audio designs. Most of the audio is just sort of units responding. There's not really any music, even though there was the music option. I don't know if there's plans to add more music to the game later, or if this is how it's designed. I don't necessarily know that it needs music. It's kind of pleasant as it is, just the sort of soothing ocean sounds. It's visually very pleasing as well. I'm liking how this game looks. It's very pretty. The bright colours and vibrant world. It's nice to look at. So I'm going to move these down a little bit so they can get a few shots on the crabs. Because we are struggling to... Well, I am struggling. Most people wouldn't... Oh god, how have I lost all this? Oh god. Yeah, I am struggling to maintain control of that base. There's not many units down there though, so that's not too bad. I want to move some of the... Let's keep some of them there. And some of them there. Bring those down here. I want to create a bit of a blockade. Try and stop units getting through. I guess we've captured that one, although we're still under attack again. Let's try and create some more crabs. Lost the turret base, thanks to the crabs there. Although, come on, attack. See, both units just kind of walked past each other there. They pretty much swam through each other's packs. They were heading towards my spawner, I was heading towards the base. And in both cases, they just pretty much ignored each other. Which is not what you'd expect or want units to do. Right, so those are going to get converted into crabs. I want to send this big pack of crabs down there. Let's move this a little further down there. Add those. Those want to join those pack. If you click on a pack, they do tend to merge the packs, which is nice. Those crabs, join those guys. Those ones. Really? Have I lost that again? I guess we need to... Because we've lost control around here, I guess it would be useful to have a pack of turret enemies around here. Or allies, not enemies. Turret units. That would be the word. This game's kind of drawn out. Some of the games can be a lot shorter than this. Many of them are a lot shorter. This is surprising how long this one's taking. Because it just doesn't normally. So there, we've got a spawner there. We've gained control of much the right-hand side of the map. If we look, you've got the mini-map in the bottom left. I haven't really tended to look at that too much, if I'm honest. It's not something I found terribly useful. Let's move those a little closer, see if we can get some range on them. Let's convert them to crabs. I want the firepower. Let's pop the turrets up there with those crabs. Let's make some more as well while we're at it. I might be able to salvage this. Actually, it seems quite promising at this point, given that I've got control of the majority of the spawners, so I think we're okay. So if I get all of those, we can go take that crab group. We can move those turrets up to join that pack. Let's have those crabs join this pack. We might have got this. There's only one spawner left. Yeah, let's bring those round. We've got... What have we got in there? I think those are all turrets, aren't they? That's fine. I refer to these as turrets. They're guns is what they are, not turrets. There is actually... I believe there is a mechanic in the game somewhere on some of the maps which actually is a turret, which is sort of a fixed mounted thing, which is basically area denial. So if we can get those to stay in there, I could capture that. If that goes green, we have dominance. Excellent. And victory is mine. That is a game of Boid. A rather long game of Boid, I will note. Although I think they can go on. The description of the game on their webpage, they say it can be between 2 and 20 minutes, and I have seen some that are like 2 minutes long. That was, I guess, a little over 10, so I guess they can go longer than that. So if we go back to this, let's have a look at some of the other ones. We've got Venom Valley is a fairly interesting one because it's got some other units on it. So let's just do it on easy so I can burn through it. I just kind of want to show you the features more so than a fully fledged game. So here we start at the top. We have quick and easy access to other spawners, so that's probably useful grabbing those off the bat. Although it's entirely up to on how one wants to proceed. This is actually a medic unit over there, so if I were to take that and convert all my units to medics, they probably wouldn't... Medics don't actually have any firepower of their own, so they would actually have a lot of trouble actually taking anything out. I'll take that one unit, so we could convert that one into a medic. I'm trying to take as many spawners as I can early on. So that one can become a medic, sort of a manta thingy. And that one can then that can heal my units on when they're on the attack, which should give me a nice little combat advantage and allow me to take the third spawner, which is good. So got that. The enemy's already immediately gone for the choke point in the middle, which is where there is a venom unit. So this is where the interesting twist on this map comes in, which is it's medics versus poison. So let's take as many units as we can and basically just try and rush the middle. Since all I've got is medics, I should probably make some medics, I guess. Most of it's just going to be rushing for the middle and trying to get that poison, because the poison obviously will deal damage over time to the enemy and give you a nice strategic combat advantage that you would want. Admittedly, looking down here, hard to tell through the fog of war, but it seems like the enemy might not have got too many resources yet. So then we can throw a lot of poison at them. Whoopsie. I don't know if that will have captured that. I accidentally grabbed the... I actually accidentally grabbed the window and moved it there, so... I don't know how well footage captures whilst you're doing that. So I've lost all my units there, and that attack's basically burned out, but hopefully it should have weakened some of their defences. They've gained that spawner, we know that much now. You can see that. I need to keep hold of this choke point in the middle. It's the main strategic point of this map. So I need access to that. Let's make a whole bunch of medics, because then the medics could give me an advantage there. I don't want to move all... Oh, man. The problem is with grabbing all the units like that is it does convert all the things. So in this case, I probably just grabbed... Indeed, I did grab a bunch of medics. I really need to keep them separate. So I grabbed a bunch of medics and converted them into the poison units as well. I don't know what they would actually be called. If you hover over it, Venom, that's what they're called. They're called Venoms. So... yeah, I ruined a lot of my medics by inadvertently putting them in the wrong group, which is not great. It's not what you want to be doing too often. You can, I believe, select things from this side, so if I were to click on that, I would just basically select all the basic units, and I could deal with them that way. Although, admittedly, it doesn't show the Venom units on here for whatever reason. I'm not sure why I can't just go click and select all my Venom units, because I clearly have some. Indeed, same goes for the medics. So... I don't know how that quite works. We could probably attempt to take that over. That doesn't have much defense left on it, but they might be able to rally some more units. Basically, now that I've got the tactical superiority of having poison on my side, so I should hopefully be able to... If I can take over one of their spawners, I pretty much got the game, because I have four spawners producing units to their 2. Which gives me a significant superiority. That would get me the game, pretty much. Although that's a lot of units incoming. Wow. I need to be really sending a lot of units. I need to be sending as many as I can constantly down to here. I don't know whether I've got any medics still intact. I don't think I do, unfortunately. As long as this stays in mine, I should... Holy crud, they made a lot of medics. That doesn't mean they've got the attack power, though, because they're all medic units. But the units they do have are... Holy Moses! Have we lost this? I might have lost this. They might have just overwhelmed me with sheer healing power. I can't take their units out because they're being so heavily healed. Which is an interesting tactic to say, and one that I hadn't necessarily considered. I hadn't realised there was a point at which they could be so heavily healed that I couldn't possibly take them out. And I'm now down to 2 spawners to their 4. I don't think we've got this. I have a feeling we may have lost. Because I'm looking kind of weak here. This was on easy as well. That healing strategy came out of left field for me there. There we go. That's 5 spawners. GG, I think, is what that is. There is no concede, unfortunately. Not that I've seen anyway. Most RTS normally, you know, when you're at a point where you can't win, one could just go GG and concede. I'm not seeing that. I've just got to wait for them to wipe me out. But that is absolutely a GG. And there we go. Defeated. I'm not good at RTS, what can I say? Blast Radius, I will note, has another type of unit. Let's pop that one on easy. I don't know that we're going to finish this game, but I'm going to take a look at it. We've got one unit in the middle, the one that's red there. I don't know why it's highlighted in red per se. It kind of seems to imply it's the enemies when it's the ring around the outside is actually what denotes it being the enemies. The fact that the icon in the middle is red is just a little confusing, I would have said. But basically these are kamikaze ones. The last game I had on this against the AI loved using kamikaze units, so if the last game is anything to go by, if this is similar, chances are we're going to see them pretty soon. They pretty much rushed the kamikaze in the middle. In fact, with that strategy in mind, it might well be worth my going for them. No, there they go. So they will explode and pretty much just one-shot anything that comes into their vicinity. As a base, it's strategically interesting, just on the basis that, quite frankly, if anything attacks it, everything tends to explode anyway, and control of that base is kind of tenuous because, yeah, one of them goes in there, converts to kamikaze, and instantaneously blows up everything that's in there. Except it didn't, it swam off because the AI is very strange like that. Now I've got my kamikaze unit, that's going to blow everything up in there. It's a weird kind of base to hold, that one. And now they're going to send all those in. I found the best counter to them is literally just the gun units, because the gun units will shoot them from a mile away and then they'll all blow up. So actually, if you've got a bunch of those, the kamikaze units won't do too much to you. So they'll generally get shot, and due to the nature of the explosions wiping each other out, they'll kind of blow up the entire pack. So it only takes 1 or 2 shots there to take out an entire pack of 5 kamikaze, because it detonates them, which is interesting. So I think that's all the units in the game. As I say, there are other powers, but they're not available in the bot matches, so I will probably do some more videos at a later point with people, actual real human flesh bags to actually have a match against, and let's see if we can't show some of the other stuff. But for now, this is what's available to you from the bot perspective if you wish to play against your computer overlords. So this is what you got. It's kind of an interesting game. I quite like it. It's similar to a lot of other node-based things, but I think it's got more strategic depth to it. The fact that there are... how many classes are there? There's at least 6 classes. In fact, there's one I haven't even shown. That's your kind of scout squid one. We didn't get that in the first game. That's a low attack but really high movement speed one. So I quite like the squid units. They're good scouts. So if I could get a bunch of them, they swim really fast, and I could probably rush that base. I might be able to capture it. That would be an interesting turn up for the Bucks, but I think they're going to hold out just long enough to deal with that. But there you go. That's all the units. So you got at least 6 units that I can think of, unless I've counted wrong. There are 6 units in the game, and then there's a bunch of other powers and strategic things, and it's kind of an interesting little affair. A lot of other node-based things just tend to be based around numbers, whereas this actually has kind of the classes going on, which adds a bit of depth to it, which is quite nice. I like that. So that is an early look at Boid. As I say, I will probably be doing some more in the near future, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested in seeing me play against other human beings. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I've been Meroka. This has been Boid. and I'll see you next time.